Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Speedroid Yugioh deck profile for post-Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. The latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist pack gave us more support for the Speedroid deck, the deck used by Hugo in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 anime. This new support definitely does help with the overall consistency of the Speedroid deck. I believe we're getting maybe one or two more cards in the Brothers of Legend booster set for this deck. So with it, we'll definitely be updating it during that time, but until then I wanted to update it with all the support we received from the Synchro Storm booster set. Definitely happy with the results of the deck. Being a synchro deck, the point of it is just to summon out all the many different synchro monsters we run using the different Speedroid tuners and the non-tuners in the main deck to do so. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the main deck Speedroid monsters. At 1 on the ban list is Speedroid Terror Top. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when it's normal or special summon, you can add one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, except for Terror Top. You can only use this effect once per turn. Probably one of the best level 3 search engines we have in the entire game. This card is just so consistent, not really giving you any repercussions for adding the card to your hand. That really falls more underneath the other Speedroid monsters we run. For some of the additional non-tuner monsters, I'm also running one Horse Stilts and one double Yo-Yo. I run one of each of these cards mostly for the fact that you can recycle them from your graveyard, but they are normal summon only monster effects, so you really can't gain anything from special summoning them onto the field. They just special summon different monsters, Yo-Yo from the graveyard and Horse Stilts from the hand, so you have plenty of different synchro plays to rely on with these cards when you do so, and also giving you the banish option to send a win monster using Horse Stilts for that monster effect. For some of the higher numbers for the non-tuner Speedroid monsters, I run 3 Speedroid Tekken Tomborg. Next to Terror Top, I would say Tekken Tomborg is definitely one of the best. If you control a win monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute this card to special summon one Speedroid tuner monster from your deck, and also you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for win monsters. So if you summon out your Terror Top and search your Tekken Tomborg, there's the special summon right there to then tribute Tekken Tomborg, giving you the search for any of the Speedroid tuners to then use with Terror Top for your synchro play. I also run 3 Speedroid Marble Machine with this card. It's the only other pendulum monster we run in the deck. It's mostly here for its monster effect anyway. When it's normal summon, you can activate this effect to add one Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except for win monsters. You can only use this effect of Marble Machine once per turn. So it's just an add to your hand for this card when you normal summon it though. Remember that. If it's special summon, you don't get the search, but giving you plenty of options for what you want to add. You add Tekken Tomborg most of the time and there's your play, just like the Terror Top ad, but except with that, you're using Marble Machine for the search. It's very, very consistent, giving you the normal summon target for the good majority of your cards, then add them to your hand. One of the other normal summon monsters we run is one of the new ones from the Synchro Storm Duelist Pack, and that is Speedroid Ultra Hound. When it's normal summon, you can send one Speedroid card from your deck to the graveyard, and during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target one Speedroid monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do special summon one Speedroid Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level but a different name, but negate its effects. And you can only use this effect of Ultra Hound once per turn. So Ultra Hound comes in handy for giving you the option to send the Speedroid monster you then want to shuffle back to summon out the synchro of choice from your deck onto the field. We run one of them being the newest Speedroid Cork Shooter. Having this card gives us the synchro tuner option to then use for our many different monsters, including Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon and also Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, depending on which one you want to summon out. This card is great for that setup to rely on. I also run, now moving on to the tuner monsters, 3 Speedroid Car Turbo. If you control a win monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except for win monsters, but you can banish this card and add one Speedroid monster from your graveyard. All win monsters you currently control gain 800 attack until the end of this turn, and you can only use each effect of Car Turbo once per turn. So Car Turbo is just an easy special summon onto the field, and it is a level 3 tuner. Very, very useful for that, especially if you open up one of your normal summon monsters and just have no targets for those cards. If you have Horse Stilts, you can obviously summon Car Turbo off of that card, but it would always be better to just to summon another Speedroid that doesn't have the special summon capabilities and then just summon Car Turbo right thereafter using its own monster effect. For some of the lower numbers for the Speedroid tuners, I also run 2 Speedroid Den Daiko Duke. You can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon one Speedroid tuner from your hand or graveyard, except for Den Daiko Duke. You can only use this effect of Den Daiko Duke once per turn. So the banish is just another special summon option for the tuner from the graveyard. Most of the time is where you'll use this card for consistency. It just gives you those play styles, and being a card you can set up in the graveyard with your Speedroid Ultra Hound, giving you a banished target to then just summon out another tuner that's either in your graveyard, or most of the time if you send it with Ultra Hound, having the other tuner in your hand can just be the special summon needed to use, especially if that tuner is your Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice, with Red-Eyed Dice having the option with the target of another Speedroid monster you control to adjust the level of that monster from 1 to 6, giving you the monster then needed to synchro summon out your level 6 monster with your level 1 Red-Eyed Dice to summon out your main go-to boss monster, which is your Clearwing Synchro Dragon. And then for the last of the tuners and the last of the monsters for the main deck, I just run the one Speedroid Fukumadoshi Piper. With this card, if it's normal or special summon, you can excavate the top cards of your deck equal to the number of other wind monsters you control and add one excavated card to your hand. Also place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target one level 3 or higher wind monster you control. Reduce its level by 2. You can only use each effect of Fukumadoshi Piper once per turn. It's a situational card. It's great for the setup when it's normal or special summon, but you do have the recycle options available to you with this card in the form of what we just spoke of, your Speedroid Den Daiko Duke. Once you use Fukumadoshi Piper already once from your hand as a special summon target with this card, and it's in the graveyard, you can just summon it back using your Den Daiko Duke. But I really feel it's all you need as the one-of target, because then you'll just use the excavation effect as long as you have all the other different Speedroid monsters set up on the field to use. And that is it for the monsters. Moving on now to the spells. I run 3 Speedroid Wheel. This is a quick play spell. You discard one card to roll a 6-sided die. Then special summon from your hand and or deck 1 or 2 Speedroid monsters whose total levels equal the result, but negate their effects. If you do not special summon, you lose life points equal to the result times 500. You go and activate 1 Speedroid Wheel per turn. So this is a interesting play style. You get 2 monsters from your hand or deck, Speedroid monsters, and they don't have to be a tuner and a non-tuner, just have to equal the dice results. We run plenty of different level Speedroid monsters, so much so that you can equal out the most of the results, actually. We have a level 1, 2, 3, all the way up. So the higher you roll, the better, because then if it's like a 5, you get your 2 monsters from there. If it is a 6, even better, you have your level 3 options available to summon out. It's a discard cost, but there are plenty of cards you can set up in the graveyard with your Speedroid Wheel to then give you those additional monsters out on the field to use. But like I said, the higher the result, the better the play with your Speedroid Wheel to use. For more search power and special summon power, I run 3 Speed Recovery. You target 1 Speedroid monster in your graveyard. Special summon it during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the turn graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 Speedroid monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. So this is another reason why I only run one-ofs of Horse Stilts and Double Yo-Yo. This is the recycle power I spoke of. Being able just to add these cards back to your hand means you can reuse them with their normal summon. If you open up multiples of these cards and you don't have the tuner targets to use with them, they don't really add much to the game. So just running one of each of them at least gives you search options for them, and then recycle power thanks to your Speed Recovery. I also run 2 Speed Lift. This is just more of a way to get those cards out onto the field. If you control 1 tuner and no other monsters, special summon 1 level 4 lower Speedroid monster from your deck. Neither player can activate card or effects when that monster is special summoned. So with it, you have the targets once again for Double Yo-Yo or Horse Stilts when you have that other tuner on the field, giving you more of a play setup with just this one quick play spell to then get the monster needed for your Synchro summon to, summon out after you get this special summon onto the field. And for more special summon options with our spells, I also run 2 World Legacy Succession. I do run Link monsters, and we have an additional Speedroid Link monster to go into. So this card just gives us some easy Link arrows to make use of for special summoning from the graveyard. Same with Iron Call. It does negate the effects of the monster, but it's here for that usefulness of just giving us resources back on the field for us to use. And also Iron Call is not a once per turn, so you can have multiples of this card and have those special summon targets back onto the field to summon. Same with Monster Reborn, but it is at 1, so we're only running the one in the deck for us to use. And as for the additional one-ofs, I run one Foolish Burial graveyard setup, especially Den Daiko Duke, being able to then recycle our tuner of Fukumadoshi Piper, have the special summon of that, and 1-for-1 for the red-eyed dice target, and lastly, one Call by the Grave as just a means to stop our opponent from stopping our own special summons, especially if they try to Ash Blossom Speedroid Wheel, because this is a big card to rely on, and you can heavily invest in it by discarding the card, so you don't really want to minus yourself, so that's where Call by the Grave comes in handy. And that is it for the spells. Moving on now to the traps. I'm running 2 Speedroid Duplicate. You banish 1 wind monster from your graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it to the hand. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 level 2 or higher Speedroid monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do special summon this card as a normal monster machine onto the field, it's not treated as a trap, and you can only use this effect of Duplicate once per duel. You have the banish option, but also just the option for the monsters, why I like to run 2 of this card, so you have both readily available. There's no really an easy way to search this card, which is another reason I like to have at both of an option. It does give you the monster on the field, but then you have just that option to open it up again and have another play to banish a wind monster to target a card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. If it's an extra deck monster, they'll just lose that monster completely. And then lastly, for the traps, just the 3 Infinite Impermanence. It's my hand trap of choice. I thought of running Ash Blossom in the deck as another tuner, but with our limitations to only wind monsters, it's why I decided with Infinite Impermanence instead. Just a great way to stop our opponent's plays and then utilize our own. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. One of our main go-to boss monsters is Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, except during the damage step, quick effect, you activate this effect until the end of this turn. This face-up card is unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters. Also, this card gains attack equal to that opponent's monster's original attack. And once per turn, when a spell, trap, or effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. And if this Synchro Summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can add 1 wind monster from your deck to your hand. So searching out the different Speedroid monsters is a big plus with this card, but it's a powered up version of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, being able to stop not just monster effects, but spell and traps also, and also power up its attack. You just need a tuner Synchro monster and 1 tuner non-tuner Clearwing monster. So with it, you have the next go-to card, which is Clearwing Synchro Dragon. We're running 2 copies of this card in the deck, just another monster effect stopper, but one of the easiest level 7s to summon out onto the field using this deck. It's why I like running 2 of this card, because if our opponent destroys the 1, we always have another option to go into. I also run the 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, a level 8 monster in the deck, and with it we can use red-eyed dice and 1 Clearwing Synchro to summon this card out onto the field. The Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, being a level 10 monster, means we can use our Clearwing and 1 level 3 tuner, having all the different available cards to use with those tuners and our Clearwing Synchro Dragon. For the Speedroid Synchros, I run 1 Chambara. This is a double attack boost card that can hit for some pretty big damage or just hit monsters on our opponent's field. 1 Kendama for the level 6 target plays and banish options for burn damage against our opponent, and also just for special summoning options from the graveyard instead of a normal summon. Cork Shooter for the level 3 target with our Speedroid monster setup with Ultra Hound, and also just another level 3 monster to summon out if we have a level 2 and a level 1. 1 High Speedroid Kite Drake for another level 8 boss monster to go into, Stardust Charge Warrior, Martial Metal Marcher, and 1 High Speedroid Clear Wing Rider. It's another setup card during the main phase for rolling a 6-sided dice to shuffle wind monsters from your graveyard into the deck up to the number, then destroy cards our opponent controls. Being a higher level monster, it's one that you can go into and definitely benefit from using against our opponent. And also for level 9 options, the 1 Virtual World QB Shenshin. It has a banish play against our opponent, which can definitely help to shut down their own summons that they try to do. For the Link monsters, I run 1 High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. The additional normal summon play is what I like with this card. 1 Greatfly for the wind boost, and 1 Win the Wind Charmer Verdant for also options when our opponent has wind monsters for us to use in their graveyard. As for some of the go-to plays in the deck, one of my favorites I spoke of before is the Fukumadoshi Piper play that you can utilize with your Den Daiko Duke, but also being able to use Ultra Hound as that setup. If you summon out your Ultra Hound, you can then use its effect when it's normal summon to send a Speedroid card from your deck to the graveyard with Den Daiko Duke as that option. For the banish, you can then summon out from your hand the Fukumadoshi Piper, or if you had the option to send it to your graveyard with cards like Foolish Burial. Another play play there. And also, it also can benefit you if you have additional cards that you could have summoned out on the field beforehand, whether it be your Card Turbo or your Tekken Tomborg. Don't forget, Tekken Tomborg could also special summon the Speedroid Tuner from your deck, so you could have also summoned Fukumadoshi Piper this way instead and just have the Denden Daikoduke in the graveyard as a banished target for another tuner in your hand to summon out. With that play, you then have the excavation option, depending on what you excavate, to add to your hand. But from there, you have the summon of your Clear Wing Synchro Dragon using the Fukumadoshi Piper and the Ultra Hound to then summon out your Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. And if you have the Card Turbo in your hand as another card you special summoned out using the Clear Wing Synchro Dragon and also the additional tuner play for that monster, you'll need the Tuner Synchro monster. That's where the Ultra Hound will come in handy there. But other than that, you have the additional play option to extend with your Summon Search. That's why you'll use the Ultra Hound to then target one Speedroid monster in your graveyard when this card was sent, except the turn was sent to the graveyard. So you'll have to rely on the one-turn play to summon out your Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, and then the shuffle power to use Ultra Hound to shuffle back into the deck to then give you the Cork Shooter onto the field for you to summon, using that card as the level 3 Tuner Synchro to then use with these two monsters to summon out your Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon onto the field. And it's a difficult boss monster. You definitely need that one turn to summon it out, but worth it because then you have that boss play to utilize, unless you have the additional tuners in your hand to summon out the Cork Shooter as being one of the added options with your Clear Wing Synchro Dragon already being on the field, and then just the additional tuner monsters we spoke of, one being the Red-Eye Dice and possibly the other being the Marble Machine to summon out that monster by those means. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely having fun updating not just decks from Synchro Storm, but Burst of Destiny. We haven't really had a dual release before like this, where we've had 2 booster packs released so close to one another. So it's definitely a lot to work on, but also having a lot of fun doing so. And as always, until next time, I hope you all enjoyed. And please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.